Walking Macau Streets. Dear Lord, show me a sign. Give me a map. Oh yeah.
And this is all called西灣Lake, so we're going to be following it. And I could have walked it, but instead I'm going to drive it.西灣Lake. And actually, the西灣Lake looks like that. And I think kind of my plan right now is to say maybe drive around the lake,西灣Lake. So Namban and Taipa. Taipa would go across the bridge. Namban just goes over here, back to this Macau Tower where we basically started at. There's西灣Lake, so that was so we're definitely on another road now. We're on, I think, and right there is where we started at. So right there it says Rua do Lago西灣, so that's one lake, and we were directly down that way. And then there's another lake here called Namban Lake. Okay, in my effort to film every street in Macau, and generally by walking, and I am walking, but actually you can see this street doesn't look that interesting at the moment, but that's okay. I'm going to drive it instead, and basically I'm going to go right over to that lake and just and then you get a better view of it. If I walk it, I don't think it'll be as interesting, but you can see this kind of green stuff right here. I'll talk about all that in a moment, but that's to do with the future train line. And there's a legislative assembly over here too, and we're going to be going to something called the street. This is the street of西灣Lake.西灣Lake is right there, and by the way, that's Namban Lake. I'll tell you all about that as well in a moment. 2024. Let's check out Macau. Come on. So yeah, I will drive down this street, and I'm going to go across it and continue on a little bit before we even go down to西灣. This is Namban Lake over there. There's another, it has a nice skyline at nighttime. You can see Grand Lisboa Casino, you can see the skyline, which we're going to drive into in a moment. And then this stuff over here, Macau Tower, Legislative Assembly, and this right here, they're building a train line. So this train line will have a station right here near the Legislative Assembly. This is also at the southern tip of Macau Peninsula. So yeah, this will all be different in the future. This one, and then I think that one over there has another lot, and then this one with the green over there is another lot. So we're gonna jump in the car, and I'm gonna just go down the Rua de Lago西灣. Okay, so yep, I'm gonna drive this little road. I probably could walk it, but as you can see, there's not much interest at this particular moment, except that there's going to be a future train line, and I might have a totally different experience altogether. And it's going to go across the street here, and they're doing more construction over there, so that'll be interesting to see what that is as well. Days. So we just have to wait for these go. So there's all this construction here. And part of my goal anyways is to capture it in time, just so you can see what it's like in this particular moment. That's the fire department, fire station over there. So we're gonna go across as soon as this bus goes by. And now we're safe to go across. And this is also part of our street too, so you can see the construction to the side here. And you can see a lake straight ahead. So that I would be walking by if I was walking. But instead I'm gonna go down this way. And this is all called西灣Lake, so we're gonna be following it. And I could have walked it, but instead I'm gonna drive it. And actually the Rua de Lago de西灣, Lago西灣, I think you can see the sign right here. Another window again. That's where the street ends, right there. But I'm gonna continue on so you can get an idea of what Sivan Lake looks like. Looks like that. So this used to be the ocean right here. So that would have came right up to the ocean with all of these beautiful buildings, but then they created a lake here instead. So so we basically just did the street with the same name as the Lago Sivan Lake. But instead I'm going to drive around a little bit. You can see Macau Tower right there. And this is definitely nice at nighttime. And I think kind of my plan right now is to say maybe drive around the lake, Sivan Lake. But yeah, historically I used to see these photos where people would walk along this promenade in the street, didn't have the cars that it has now. So in the past people could just come here and stroll along this big boulevard overlooking the ocean. And this was actually like very, very popular and famous and romantic about 100 years ago. But now you can see that the sidewalk is very, very narrow. There's people that do jogging around this lake, but they are have to run on this road quite a bit. But anyways, that's Sivan Lake, and I am going to just go all the way around it and give you some context. And you've probably seen me filming here a few times as well. This is now we're on this actual road that we're on right now is called Avenida Republic Avenue. And there's another train line over here, so this is going to connect to it does already connect to Taipa, but in the future it will go around here real quick. It'll later connect to that assembly line, but it'll be on the other side of the peninsula, basically. So what I'm going to do now is just follow towards Nam Van. So that we started out over at Nam Van Lake, so we're going to go back to Nam Van Lake. So that's that sign that says Nam Van. So Nam Van and Taipa. Taipa will go across the bridge. Nam Van just goes over here back to this Macau Tower where we basically started at. There's Sivan Lake, so that was so we're definitely on another road now. We're on, I think, panoramic view of Nam Van Lake Avenue. That's what we're on now. And what I'm going to do right now is just go back to the Macau Tower, which is where we basically started at. And then this is kind of a little bit of a labyrinth, but it'll make sense in a minute. So now we're heading to Nam Van Lake, basically, and then I'm going to take a left into the lake again. It's hard to explain, maybe if you look at a map. But we're back at the legislative right there, so that's all the legislative buildings again. And we're gonna just go right into that again, and then you'll see where we come back at. So now we're back at the legislative buildings, so that'll give you an idea of Macau a little bit. So yeah, we started right over here, and you have to navigate a little bit over here. It'll all make sense in a minute. I hope. And right there is where we started at. So right there it says Rua do Lago Sivan. So that's one lake, and we were directly down that way. And then there's another lake here called Nam Van Lake. So I don't think I film in here so much because I usually like walking down streets instead. But if I were, this is so anyways, that's Hua Lago Saivan, and that's Navan. Okay, anyways, enough. 2024. Let's check out Macau. Come on.